All right, folks, how are we doing? Episode 6 of the Fontana podcast. Sorry it's took me so long to get the next episode out. It's just this one is actually going to state why it's been hard for me to get that next podcast out. Not through lack of content, just because the title of the podcast is going to be The Dark Hole, where, running can be a lonely sport. It's tough. It's especially when you're on your own. So when you've got no training partners, no physical coach, you can sometimes get a bit lost, especially at this time of year where the weather's rotten in Glasgow, dark nights, dark mornings, pissing a rain and blowing a gale. So, it's very easy to sometimes lose the motivation, and sometimes the discipline can run thin. It's hard to be always on it, 24/7, 365. There's always going to be a time where, whether it be a year, 2 years, 3 years, whether that be 1 month, 2 months or 3 months, where sometimes you have a wee wobble. And we're human beings at the end of the day, we're not Terminators. So that's the reason why I've found it hard to reach out and be motivated to share my energy, to share my love, to share the passion for running and the passion for getting after it, because quite frankly and quite honestly, I've been going through a wee bit of a rough patch where I'm actually finding it quite hard to motivate myself. Kind of feel like I'm in a bit of a dark hole, and sometimes I'll climb out, I'll see the light, but then other days I'll wake up and I feel like I'm back in there again. I don't quite know what that means, because it's actually quite of a shock to me, because for I don't know how long, I've just been so motivated to push myself 24/7, 365, whether it be running, whether it be in my business, whether it be in life. I'm just always on it. But just now, my business and my life is fine, completely fine. Like, I love my business and I love my life. Just the running part, I've just been really struggling with just now. And, I feel that a lot of people don't speak about this. And I was speaking to my clients, a couple of clients in particular, and they're telling me, I need to share this. I need to share the fact that sometimes people who you look up to, people who you admire, people who you think are like Superman in their eyes, are also human beings at the end of the day. And, I do get sad, I do get tired, I do get demotivated. I do love to maybe on occasion sleep in a little bit and, just relax and try and have a little bit of downtime and switch off from the madness of always trying to better myself. So yeah, I just want to share my experience with you guys. If some of you guys are going through this as well, then hopefully you can see that there's somebody else going through it. So there's strength in numbers, and you're not just the only one that's going through it. I know I'm not just the only one that's going through it, but at the end of the day, this dark hole that sometimes we get into, when the struggle is quite tough, it's quite hard to motivate yourself. Sometimes it's all relative, and that you think you're the only one in that situation, but you're not, and I'm not. We're all struggling together. It's just how we keep fighting through to get out the other side and see the light. So as you know, I'm growing my own business, Fontana Fit Personal Training. I'm working in the business 40 to 45 hours a week. That's not including working on the business, where I'm not actually working with clients. I'm working on building the business. I'm working on making the business better and giving the clients a better experience through Fontana Fit. So even though I'm not getting paid for that, that still takes energy. I'm doing that out with the working hours that I'm doing. So I might be working until 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night, and then sometimes my brain is so wired that when I get to bed at maybe 12:15, 12:30, I then just randomly wake up at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, and my mind is buzzing, and I just can't switch off. And when that happens for a couple of days or a couple of weeks, there's only so long your body can run on that adrenaline, that high cortisol, that high stress, and caffeine, and lack of sleep, and just basically recovery deprivation. There's only so long that candle can burn before it wears thin. So that's me just talking about the business. That's not me talking about then also do online university. I'm trying to achieve my master's in physiology and nutrition, again, to better myself, to then better my client's journey and experience. Then I'm trying to run out with all of that. I'm trying to train up for the London Marathon. So it's all there's quite a lot of stuff going on there. There's quite a lot of stresses, and if you've got a lot of stresses in your life as well, you may be doing the same things that I'm doing in terms of you're working really hard and you're doing online education out with, or you've got kids. I don't have kids yet, but that's, again, I've not even mentioned that family or my wife or eating, sleeping, just sitting down watching the TV and switching off. There's all these things that are going on, and we need to try and find time for us and to switch off, to relax, to recover, to enjoy what we have, instead of beating ourselves up about what we don't have or where we're not at this moment in time. Because at the end of the day, if we just always keep comparing ourselves to other people, there's a famous saying, there's always somebody out there better than you. So at the end of the day, if we always kept comparing ourselves to other people and what other people have or are doing that we are not, then we're going to constantly be beating ourselves up and constantly being sad. There is times to use that as motivation, but there is times to also switch off from that and really just focus on yourself and check in with yourself for 10, 15 minutes a day and go, how was my day? How am I feeling? Am I doing the things that I need to do right now that are going to get me to where I want to go in life? And if those answers are yes, then that's great. But if those answers are no, then you've got to then go, right, well, why is that? Am I maybe spending too much time on my work? Or else it could be other way. Am I spending too much time having downtime and actually not working hard enough? Is that what's stressing me out, that I can't motivate myself because I don't feel too passionate about what I'm doing right now? That I'm spending all my time wasting time and actually can't be arsed doing the things that I know I should be doing to get better. But I'm going to come at you from the side where when you're doing far too much, that you feel like you're a bee on 10 shots of coffee and you're trapped in a fucking jam jar and you're just bouncing off the walls and you just cannot switch off. That's where my mind's at just now. And what that's doing is I'm like a sort of seesaw. As one side rises, i.e. I spend so much more time in that frame of my life, i.e. business, that bit rises. If I spend more time there, then other parts of my life decrease, i.e. my running and my family life. If I spend too much time running and with my family, then my business falters. So it's what I'm trying to do is every day I'm just trying to find that seesaw balance where one side isn't going up and the other side isn't going down, and the other side isn't going up and the other side isn't faltering because of that. So for me, I'm slowly getting out of this dark hole, and my advice for people that are really struggling is to reach out. Number one, reach out. I'm reaching out right now talking to you guys. I've reached out to my clients, letting them know, asking them, because this has been new to me, this whole feeling it really, really hard to go out and run, to go out and train hard. I know a marathon's coming up, the London Marathon. I mean, I should be buzzing. I should be out there running 100, 120 miles a week and smashing big tempo runs and progression runs. And I'm going to be honest with you, I just cannot be fucked right now. I cannot be fucked putting myself, my body and my mind through the pain and the suffering of what you need to do to make sure I'm in tip-top shape for the 26th of April. Now, I'm getting waves of wanting to, and I'm getting waves of not wanting to. And as I'm slowly coming out of the dark hole, there's more days where I'm willing to hurt myself now through training. Not hurt myself as in, not that sort of stuff, as in training, suffering and training, getting out there and really working hard and get myself fit and strong for the 26th of April. But a couple of weeks ago, hence why no social media, no Spotify or Castbox podcasts. My mind wasn't there. Physically and mentally, I just wasn't there with running. But actually, because I love what I do, like I love my job so much, I actually sit back and I go, I've got a great, great life. If running was not in my life, I would have such an easy, amazing life. It's just when you fill your time up with running twice a day and then doing weights as well, so sometimes 2-3 times a day you're training, it can be really stressful and demanding for somebody that's in full-time work. So I can empathise with that. Somebody is listening right now, people are listening right now, nodding their head and going, you're right, Sean, it is hard. So, there is going to be times where you're going to have a little wobble, and that's all right. Don't beat yourself up about that. I can't tell you how many times I've beat myself up about missing a training session over the last couple of weeks, here and there. Maybe not pushing myself as hard because I'm just exhausted. Sometimes on my days off on a Friday, I like to train at 9:30, but I found myself still in the house at 11:30, sitting having a coffee going, I can't face hurting myself today. I can't face the pain of going out and doing a 6 mile or an 8 mile tempo run. I can't face it. And I know these are all quite negative things. And I don't like to be a negative person unless you're looking for solutions and you're looking to. There's ways you say things when you're negative to show a positive spin on it. And this is where I'm wanting to show you that I've been there. I'm going through the process and I want to help other people who are there or at the end of the process like myself and try and help pull them out of it. And a great thing would be is training partners, something that I don't have just now, and something that I would love is training partners to bounce energy off of, to bounce the passion off of, to bounce the goals and the motivation off of, and somebody to chase, somebody chasing you. I feel that would be, find training partners. That'll really help, whether that be once a week or twice a week, and then you do all your easy running on your own. Find people to run with, because that's where you've got common interests, you've got common goals, and you get common motivation to really get after it, and you all want to better yourself. That energy is infectious, so find those training partners. The next thing is, like I said, don't be scared to talk to somebody about it. I've spoke to my wife about it, saying, how I'm feeling, I want to quit running, etc., etc. But it's a grieving process. It's a mini grieving process that we have to go through, that your brain has to go through to toughen it up, to callous your mind, to put a scar there, to toughen that mind up so that you become harder, that you become more resilient. There's no point keep suppressing those not nice emotions, because if I give you a sort of scenario of suppressing your emotions, it's almost like you're putting water into a pot and that stove is on, and as that pot gets full and you can't take it anymore, and you try and put the lid on the pot while the stove is on and that pot's bubbling, what's going to happen to that water when you're putting the lid on the pot to try and stop the water from getting out? Eventually, no matter how hard you try, the pressure in there, the steam, the water will eventually blow the lid off. And that's what sometimes happens when you just keep pushing your emotions down, suppressing those emotions. You need to get them out, you need to talk to people, and you need to share what's going on in your head. A problem shared is a problem halved. So, there is people there for you to speak to. I'm here as well. I'm easily reachable. I'm all on Instagram, Facebook, Google, whatever. I'm easily reachable. You can reach out to me and I can help you even more with what I'm going through. But I just want to make it generic just now, because for everybody who's listening. And then the next thing is sometimes just taking a break from the exercise or the thing that is exhausting you. So what I done was take 3 days off of running and just started cycling, and I just watched motivational videos on YouTube, or I'd watch, say, like Bradley Wiggins winning the Tour de France, or any of my role models, Conor McGregor, Bradley Wiggins, Tony Robbins, all these David Goggins, all these motivational people that I really respect and admire. I watch videos of them and understand that they all go through a hard time as well. They've all went through the trials and tribulations of, trying to get to where they want to go. And if you think about it, you wouldn't be going through these hard, upsetting emotions if you weren't striving for something. So it's telling you, it's basically questioning how bad do you want it. Somebody, somewhere, some figure above is testing you to ask you, well, you're just going to quit at this hurdle? All right, well, if you are, then, well, maybe this isn't for you then. So maybe it's just a little question to say, how bad do you want it? How much you want to give to get to where you want to go? So maybe it's sometimes asking new questions. Are you willing? Because it's only going to get harder from here. Are you willing to go through the fire to get to where you want to go? So I kind of took a 3-day break from running because that was the thing that was stressing me out. If cycling's stressing you out, maybe go for a swim or go for a row or go for a walk. But I took myself out of the thing that was really killing my self-esteem, my self-confidence and my self-worth. So I went on the bike and just done, an hour a day, just cycling, getting those endorphins, getting the blood flowing, getting the juices going. And I felt a lot better. I felt I was doing something, because I'm obsessed with exercise. And if any of you guys are obsessed with exercise, then, sometimes you need to still do something to make yourself feel good and help your brain just release those endorphins and make you feel that you've done something for the day. So they're my sort of tips on if you're going through some hard times right now, especially in this time of the year. It is a hard time of the year when you've just finished Christmas and you're paying off the bills and you're paying off the credit card and you're paying off the debts and you're still trying to pay the mortgage or pay rent. Life still goes on. Like, none of these companies like SSE Energy, the rent, the mortgage, the council tax, none of these fuckers care that it's Christmas. They're not going to give you a break at Christmas with a letter through your door if you don't pay for something, so we do live in a world where it's constantly moving and people are constantly wanting your energy and constantly wanting something from you. Sometimes you need to take that, like I said, 10-15 minutes for you. Check in with yourself. Check in and ask yourself, am I moving in the right direction? And if you are, great. If you're not, then just jot down some reasons why you're not moving in the right direction, and then how can we get you moving in the right direction. All right, so that's just a short, snappy podcast, just wanting to let people know that, even the best of us sometimes can't be motivated 24/7, 365. We all go through our ups and downs. You need to take the rough with the smooth, and that's just life, unfortunately. It is impartial to me, you, anybody who's listening to this. It doesn't hate us and it doesn't like us. It's just doing its thing, and we're just a part of the cog of the process, So don't, look at this as a personal attack on yourself. It's just sometimes the brain, the body, the mind, when you're pushing for excellence, it sometimes has a boiling point, has a line where you just cross it sometimes and it's just been a bit too much, and you just need to give it a bit of TLC, let it relax, let it rest, let it recover, and you'll be golden in a couple of days or a couple of weeks, all right? But I just wanted to share that with you. I hope you're having a good week. If you are going through any of these sort of things and you do want to reach out to myself because you feel that you can't reach out to anybody else, then by all means do so. I'm on there on Instagram, I'm on there on Facebook, and then also Fontana Fit on Google as well. You can get my contact details there. All right, so I hope you're having a great week. Chin up if you're going through the hard times. If you're not and you're just wanting this for a wee bit of motivation, then, I'm slowly coming back. Don't worry. I'm almost at the end of the tunnel. Just got to keep fighting, got to stay in the fight, and I'll speak to you soon. All right, guys, I'll see you later. Have a good one. See ya!